Hello, welcome to today's live. So it's 7 o'clock now. If you are watching it live rather than the catch up, I'm going to be around for 30 minutes today, maybe a minute or two under that. So if you do have a question, make sure you ask it ASAP. Loads we can talk about, I'm sure. Recent videos I've done about whether you should axe premium bonds, looks at the new Barclaycard, Avios cards. I'm sure a lot of you will want to be asking me about those. So do fire away your questions on that. Talk about the My Waitrose reward scheme as well. I've got some updates there if you're interested. Again, that was something which not all of you are going to be relevant to, but I know a number of you do shop at Waitrose and are a bit annoyed about this scheme. But again, I can try and tackle anything else that you want to ask me about. So do just fire away. Who have we got here? Hi to Wimfang and Sapitu, the Penny Pinchers, Chris, Chop Life, Jacqueline, Vito Bits Mendiola, Oscar, Sustainable, XGen87. Nice to see you guys. Anything you think I can help with, do say. Likewise over on YouTube. No questions coming through just yet. Here we go. Tracy's there. Hello from Tracy. Hope you are well, Tracy. Hi to Dan Bro Fitness on Instagram as well. If you are new to me, if it's the first time you've done it, I am talking to a camera over here for YouTube and the camera down here for Instagram. So I will jump between the two, just in case you're a bit confused. What is he doing? Why is he not looking at the camera? It's because I've got two going on at once. Delayed Dave says evening, Andy. Nakeem says hello. Nice to see you guys. What do you want to know about? Let me know. What should I start with? Nadine says hello as well. We can talk about, let me give you a quick, hang on, Nick's got a question. Hi Andy, I use a preferred rewards Amex Gold card for the majority of my payments. What second credit card do you think is best to use as a backup when Amex isn't accepted? Okay, so interesting thing here. Do check out the video or the article, depending on what you prefer, that I released on last Thursday, looking at these new Barclaycard Avios credit cards. You will possibly be eligible. No, hey, it's Barclaycard, isn't it? Barclaycard, doesn't matter. So they both, because it's non-Amex, you'll be able to use them anywhere. And you might think, hang on, I don't want Avios points. I don't collect Avios points. I've got no interest in using them on a British Airways or other airline flight. And I know they're complicated and they're not that fantastic. I'm not the biggest fan of them. But you can convert those points into Nectar points. And that gives them basically one Avios point is the equivalent of 0.8% cash back as a Nectar point, which you can use at Sainsbury's, Argos, eBay, places like that. This new free Barclaycard Avios card will do just that. 1 point per one Avios point, one per £1 spent, which is the equivalent of 0.8%. So if your Amex isn't accepted, use that card. It's a Mastercard, so it will be accepted in loads of places, and therefore you will be getting money. In fact, if you've got the Preferred Rewards Amex Gold card, this will give you exactly the same return if you're currently converting your Preferred Rewards Amex Gold points into Nectar points. Via the Avios step that you have to take with the Amex card. So hopefully that is useful to you. Alex says hi. Bully Maguire. Hello, Bully Maguire. Hi there, Andy. Was thinking, how do you manage more than two accounts if you use your cards very lightly and income basically is very low? Do you still need a second account or more? So yes, I would say that the reasons to have more than one bank account can be to take advantage of those different special offers and things, which is great. And I take advantage of this. I know a lot of you guys do as well. You can get £5 from Halifax Rewards. You get free cinema tickets from Lloyd's, all these different things that go along. If you're willing to do that kind of jumping around, then you can do this. But that's not the main reason. The main reason to have a second bank account is if something goes wrong. And this doesn't always happen. It can be months and nothing happens, and all of a sudden loads of things go at once. And it might happen and it doesn't affect you. It might happen, like let's say the internet banking goes down or whatever reason it might be. You can't get your cash when you need it. I always think it's worth having a separate current account with some money in it. Often the best one for that over the last few years has been the Virgin Money M Plus current account, if you're eligible for it, if you can get it, because that one does offer a decent rate of savings. So if you do have, I know you're on a low income and you might not have much of an emergency savings pot. If you do have any kind of emergency savings pot, it's a good idea to keep it separate to your main spending anyway, so you don't accidentally eat it up with everyday spending. And if it's a second account with a debit card, such as the Virgin Money one, get 2.02% on the first grand in there, 1% on anything up to 25k after that. Then I think that's a really good reason. So you've got it as a backup. I have got a whole video and article about why you might want to have more than one current account, multiple current accounts. So I would check that out if you want to learn more. Miniman says, evening in hand, how's it go, dudes? It's good. It's going well, thank you. Sam Stevens, hi mate. With loads of people renting now, surely a lifetime ISA is more risky than a help to buy ISA. As a lot of young people especially are being forced to rent So surely it's more safe to stick in a Help to Buy ISA. So this is only relates to people who already have the Help to Buy ISA. It's closed to new applicants, has been for a while now. But yeah, absolutely. If you have a Help to Buy ISA already, converting it into a lifetime ISA does restrict you in lots of ways. If you want to withdraw it, you've got that penalty. You'll lose some of the money that's in there, or you wait until you're 60. The difficulty you've got with a Help to Buy ISA is that limit, unless you're in London, is, I think, off the top of my head, 250k on a property, which is getting harder and harder as average prices go up, continue to go up across the whole of the UK. It's very hard to potentially find properties that are going to be, the Help to Buy ISA can be used on that. Likewise, the same could be said on that 450k limit on the lifetime ISA on properties, particularly in the southeast, if London and the southeast, if that's where you're based. What you can do to mitigate this is you don't have to transfer the money over straight away. And I'm doing this off the top of my head, so do a little bit of research, do a bit of Google on this, and just double check what the details are. But if you open up the lifetime ISA, put £1 in it now, that gives you 12 months. You can't use a lifetime ISA for 12 months, right? So put a quid in, it starts that clock. And if it's a quid and you have to take it out at some point, you don't use it, the most you're losing is, I don't know, like 7p or something like that. But if time comes to buy and the property value is on the lifetime ISA is better than the Help to Buy ISA, then I'm pretty sure you can transfer the money across. Do you check up on that? But yeah, absolutely, it's going to be harder and harder for people to use it with property prices going up more and more. And like I said, if you never get to buy and the money's in the lifetime ISA, you've got to wait until you're 60. I'll quickly jump back over to Instagram because this moves quite fast and sometimes I miss things on there. Mock Matters, Imatu, High Society, Nath. Oscar says, not banking related, but are there any funds you recommend to invest in? So I don't talk about investing in specific funds simply because I don't know as much about that stuff as I do about everyday personal banking and savings accounts. It's much easier for me to kind of look at some savings accounts and tell you which one's best because it's very clear. When you look at the different funds, there's so much more volatility in that. So I don't ever sort of share my stock tips, so to speak, or fund tips. But do your research. There are lots of people out there who will be sharing some information on those things. General broad sort of the school of thought here, broadly what I would say is though, go for those ones which basically you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're going for something that if the markets do fall, as they are happening right now in lots of places, your losses are mitigated because hopefully somewhere over here it's doing all right or the loss isn't as bad. So for example, if you have lots of money right now in Russia, it would go plummet massively, wouldn't it? But if you've got one of those trackers across the whole of Europe or worldwide or something like that, then the Russia element would be quite small. So that actually the loss on your overall portfolio would be quite limited. So do your research on that. I wouldn't tell you any specific ones, but hopefully that was useful. Chris Discovers asks, is the new card from Chase any good? So this has been around since September. Full review on the blog and the video. So do check that out, Chris, if you haven't already. I'm a big fan of this simply because it gives you 1% cash back on all your spending, which is higher than you can get pretty much anywhere else. And it also has a little roundup feature where you get 5% interest on that. Now, that 1% cash back is only for 12 months. So come back to me after you've had it for a year and maybe I'll suggest a different account. But interestingly, they've just launched end of last week on the 4th. When was the 4th of March? Was that Friday? Whenever the 4th of March was, they added direct debits to that account. That had been missing for the last 6 months. So this is a feature which might make people use that account more for their day-to-day banking. Interesting to know what you guys think if you've been using it, if you've been taking advantage of the direct debit feature being added. Loads of you joining in, the Bank Engine, Weekend Bakery, Marlena, Leah, Money Resolution. Sorry if I can't call out all of your names. But yeah, welcome along, ask your questions. Let's jump back to YouTube. Anish says, hi Andy, I'm a 20-year-old student with an Amex, but I would like to take out a Mastercard credit card. What would you recommend? Okay, I refer you back to the question about 5 minutes ago. We talked about the Barclaycard Avios credit card. There's a free version there, and there's a plus version which charges. Video and article on the blog from last Thursday. Read that in detail, give you more information. But if you're happy to convert Avios points into Nectar points, then that's the best non-Amex for cashback right now for credit card, or the Chase account that we just spoke about a moment ago with 1%, which is a debit card. That's probably the best bet, I would say. Delayed David says, heard about the free 25 quid from Tesco's. Yeah, if you share more information on that, Dave, that'd be great. Miniman says, may have asked already this, but can you still switch current accounts when moving mortgages? So the general rule of thumb, if you, I need to know a better term than rule of thumb, don't I? Okay, I keep saying that about 2 or 3 times already. But the general kind of idea is if you're applying for a mortgage in the next 6 months, then you don't want to be applying for any new credit. Whether that's a current account, a mobile phone contract, a credit card, a loan, any of these things, you kind of want to keep applications to a minimum or ideally 0 in that 6 months ahead. So if you're moving mortgages, if you've got a new one that you're waiting to kind of apply for and be approved, then I wouldn't switch banks. I wouldn't do anything right now and wait until that is over. Yes, there are loads of switching offers around right now, loads of high paying ones. They might come back at the same rates. They might come back at a lower rate. There could be a long time. But at the end of the day, the mortgage is much more important in terms of how much money you'll save with that and getting the best deal on that than 100, 150 quid from bank switching. So Ross Johnson says, hi Andy, if I already hold an account for, e.g. a savings account with a bank, can I still use a puppet account to benefit from the switch incentives? So I assume what you're saying here is that, let's say it's Santander. You've got a savings account with them, but not a current account. That's a bad example, actually, because existing customers can switch into it. So let's say First Direct. You've got a savings account with First Direct, but you haven't got a current account with First Direct. Then absolutely, you can still apply for that because you don't have the current account. However, if you already have a First Direct current account, well, you can't open more than one of them, but you can't then switch into that for the offer. But different banks do have different rules. So as I just said, with the Santander one, you can switch into a Santander account, even if you have a current account, let alone if you have a savings account with them. So just check the terms and conditions on each offer and make sure you're all right with that. But yeah, broadly speaking, you'll be fine. And in fact, with a nationwide offer, if you already have a savings account with them, but nothing else, you'll get £125 for switching in rather than £100. So actually it's a benefit there. In fact, you can open up a savings account if you don't have one in order to get an extra 25 quid. So you open up the savings account, or then open up the current account, then switch into it in a matter of days between the two. Sam replies to Anash's question about a Mastercard. He says the Amazon Mastercard Classic is a good one, I've been told. The Amazon, well, basically, the Amazon Classic is fine. It's not bad if you have a low credit rating and poor credit rating. In fact, it's one of those ones which potentially might be easier to get if you have a low credit rating, but in itself doesn't really offer anything. The Amazon Platinum Mastercard is potentially useful if you shop at Amazon a lot and have Amazon Prime, in which case you'll get 1.5% cash back on Prime. However, only on Prime per Amazon purchases if you've got Prime. Otherwise, it's 0.75% and Amazon 0.25% elsewhere, and that can be beaten with other cards. Okay, Miniman says, with all the new savings accounts increasing their rates and moving money to them, is it worth leaving any money in to keep it open? So, okay. Potentially. It depends how much admin you want to have. There have been, from time to time, occasional accounts. Normally, this is with local regional building societies, where if you have, if you're an existing customer, you might get a preferential rate on something on a savings account. It's quite rare, and again, it's normally quite regionalised. If we're talking about, I don't know, you've had it with Tandem or with Marcus or something, then no, it doesn't really make a difference. But again, if you keep a penny in it if you want to, if that, check the minimum balance that's allowed. Maybe you could do that if you really want to. But broadly, I personally wouldn't bother, but it's up to you. You could if you want to. Hi, Andy. I have the Amex cashback 118 credit card and Amazon credit card. What should I get next? I want to get rid of the Amazon. Also, 118 has a limit of £2,000. So, Steve, when it comes to credit cards, I think your reason to get one, hopefully for most people, is because they're able to manage all their spending. That's all fine. They don't need a greater credit limit, so to speak. That's already enough what they've got for their normal spending, and then to pay it off every single month and avoid any interest. The reason to get them obviously would be to get cashback points, reward points, or Section 75 protection. Maybe a few other little features here or there, but broadly they're the reasons why you get a credit card. And in that situation, when you've got the Amex, that's only your points. You don't need anything else. You can leave it like that. It's fine. And if you're using it to boost your credit rating, again, another card's not going to make a difference. If your problem is actually because you're struggling with debts, then you want to be looking at idea 0% balance transfer credit card to bring that interest rate to zero for a set amount of time, so the interest doesn't get bigger, but you've got time to hopefully put more money into that and clear it before the 0% period finishes. Or if that's not an option, then maybe it's a low APR one, so not 20%, 24% or higher. Maybe see if you can get one that's around 7%. Still going to charge you interest, but at least it's not as much as elsewhere. However, I would question whether you need another card. You may do, your own situation, but I wouldn't be so sure about it. Scruffy says, hi Andy, love the videos. Me and my girlfriend are looking for a joint savings account. Is the best offer still the Virgin Money M Plus? Also, to get the bonus, do you need an existing savings account? So I did talk about a video, my kind of savings update, which would have been maybe a week ago, maybe a bit before that. Go to the YouTube channel or go to the blog and you'll find it on there. March 2022 savings update. I talk a bit more about this, improve this 1% rate that you can get with Virgin Money. But very quickly, you can open up a Virgin Money M Plus current account yourself, and Scruffy, your girlfriend can open one as well. And if you wanted to, you can open up a joint account as well. All three of those accounts on the first £1,000 in each account will get 2.02%. That's very, very difficult to beat right now. So that would be great. If you have more than £3,000 between you across those three accounts, each one of those will also have up to 1% on up to 25k on with a linked M-Saver account. So potentially that's £75,000. You get 1% on. Now, that's a lot, but if you really only need that amount, if you're saving for something really, really big and you need that money available to you in the next sort of few years. So hopefully that was useful. Alex says, do banks often use penalties for switching away from them? I was going to open a new NatWest reward account and switch my NatWest Select account to something else, but I don't want to be penalized. So, okay, when you are a customer of a bank or a credit card company or whoever it might be, they obviously will hold some information on you, some details there. And I guess potentially maybe there is a chance that they might sort of not be a big fan of you switching away. But broadly speaking, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. Where you do have to be careful is if you switch away from a bank and then open up another account with them, sometimes they might have rules about how fast you can do that. Some of that you might be able to find with a Google, quick search online and see what they say about particular banks. Others, it might not be so clear. So reopening an account subsequently, I suppose, might be an issue, but broadly, it's not something that's bothered me. And if you open up that NatWest account before you switch away, then that's not going to do you any harm at all. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And also, there's so many banks out there. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue really. Well, let's quickly jump back onto Instagram. Just a reminder for any of you who have joined recently, I'm leaving just before 7:30 today, so it's a bit slightly shorter live. Okay, so I will race through the questions we have got. Dan H says, hello Andy, when recommending a credit card or bank accounts, I think you should add their customer service rating and tech. I got the Santander Everyday card after you recommended it. They were horrible. Well, this is an interesting thing about, so I mean, it's always worth, if you can, doing your research and see what people say about customer service. The problem you've got is often the people who do leave reviews are the people who are unhappy. So that skews reviews to them being quite negative about something. So it could put you off signing up for a product which would be absolutely fine and not be a problem because you've seen some reviews which are potentially a bit dodgy, which can be quite good at doing its survey of its readers, its followers. And they often publish some of that information every year or something about the ones which get the best kind of customer service reports. But it's very hard to say. Also, I mean, Santander Everyday card, if I recommend that one, it would have been for a specific reason, either because you could get maybe a bit of cash back, or probably with the Everyday one, it's a balance transfer card as well. So there, you know, okay, yes, you can weigh up customer service, but you also need to factor in things like the length of the 0% deal and the transfer fee and stuff like that. There are so many cards out there, it's impossible to say which ones are good and which ones are bad because it's impossible to know. But yeah, do some research and find out. I often find this with broadband. I don't know about you, but I mean, I've had awful experiences with pretty much every single broadband provider out there, or at least the big ones. So BT, Sky, TalkTalk, Virgin, at some point over the last 20 years or whatever, and a few others I can throw in the mix as well. But I've also had good experiences. So again, it's very difficult to kind of say that, yes, that one is good and that one is bad. Although there will be others which potentially are good. Nationwide First Direct generally get very good feedback on customer service. So if that's something really vital to you, and I think it can be at times important, then do check for that stuff. But yeah, thanks for that, Dan. It's a good point. This is going from Andrew, says you may already be aware, but Starling Bank are now showing on Credit Karma. Okay, that's good. So if that's the case at the top of my head, that would suggest that Starling and Monzo now are reporting to all three credit reference agencies. Oh no, hang on, no, Credit Karma. They've both already been on Credit Karma actually. So you've always had Starling on Credit Karma, which is via TransUnion. I think it's either Experian or Equifax, which doesn't have Starling. It'd be good to see if that does change. But Monzo is now reporting to all three, definitely. Funky Duck says, hi Andy, we know some interest rates are the same as what we could expect to win in premium bonds, But where would you suggest putting 50k long term over 5 years? And how about 10k in easy access? So again, this is where we call straight into the investing world. And I wouldn't obviously give you any sort of advice there on investing, but the general rule of thumb is that if you are don't need your money for a period of 5 years or longer, that you would be investing it, because that will give you time for markets, if they do fall, for them to recover. That's the general thought on that, okay? And if you have it in savings in that time, the rates are going to be losing out massively compared to whatever inflation is. And right now, there's a massive gap between them. You could look at a 5-year fix. I don't personally look at the rates of that. When I do my savings account update on the blog, the best buys, I never look at more than 1 year fix, because particularly right now, so much talk of interest rates increasing, whether they will is another matter, that you could be fixing for 5 years and find that you're missing out in a couple of years because rates have surpassed what you're getting in a 5-year fix. Of course, it could go the other way and rates don't change, or they go back down. You never know. And that 5-year fix was the best bet for you. So I can't recommend a single account for you, but I'd say what I would do in that instance would probably be looking at, if you're looking for 5 years plus, consider the stock market. Obviously right now that's a scary time to jump in because things are falling, but some people will say it's a good time to go in because you're getting prices that are lower than they were a week ago. Again, not my area of expertise. Nathan said that Tandem has just increased their savings rate to 0.77%. Yeah, that's great. So we've seen, I think, off the back of that Virgin Money 1%, which in a few places increase. You can also get 0.8% at Synergy right now. And there is, I think it's a Yorkshire Building Society, has a tiered savings rate where potentially you get 0.82% easy access, but you need 50k or more saving in there. So again, I wouldn't bother with that one so much. Just check nothing else I've missed on there. James says, I've done a few bank switches, TSB nationwide. Can't see any bars search on my credit report. Is that usual? Any bank searches on my credit report? They should be showing up. The application to TSB and nationwide will be shown as a hard search on your credit report. Depends how recently you did these. And potentially it could be that the free reports you can get from the likes of what they call Clear Score or Money Saving Experts Credit Club, sometimes they are a little bit behind. So if you only did it a few weeks ago, maybe the next update you'll get will have that. What else have we got going on? Abdallah says, good evening. Sam, how have we got left? 8 minutes. How long? Ooh, lots of questions. Right, let's try and race through some of these. Okay. What else have we got going on? So Sam says, let's say I open a lifetime ISA with £1 in it. Do you think cash or stocks or shares is the way forward? As I say, I'm just worried about a young person that Help to Buy is being written off by people. Okay, so if you want to get a Help to Buy, also a lifetime ISA with the purpose of buying your first home, and you think you'll do that within the next 5 years, then absolutely you want a cash one, because you don't want to be losing the value of your money, potential risk losing the value of your deposit you're building up, because it's going to be so important to get that enough to get on the property ladder. If you're thinking longer term for a retirement, then absolutely you want it to be a stocks and shares ISA. Andrew says, hi Andy, I opened a Chase bank account for 12-month spending. What option would you opt for once my Virgin M-Saver is filled for easy access? Well, I'd question first of all whether you need more than 25k in easy access savings. If you do, and you're with someone, a partner, potentially you could open up a joint Virgin M-Saver account, and then you can get another 1% on 25k there. Or you can split some of that money between the Virgin Money M-Saver and premium bonds for now. That's what I talk about in the video from Sunday, so check that out if you haven't already. And I would say that we might see more rates increasing over time. So it's all great right now, do all this, put your money over here, but well, what happens if the premium bond rate, price rate does increase in the next few months? What happens if an account starts offering you 1.25%? Again, these are all things that could happen. So yes, moving money to get the best rate is great, but also think about how much you have saved in those accounts, because if you're talking about tens of thousands, yes, it makes more of a difference. If we're talking about hundreds of pounds, it might not be worth doing it every single time. That's, up to you guys to decide. What else we've got going on? Tracy says, do you think Chase will offer switches in due course? Possibly. I think it's unlikely because they've gone down that 1% cashback rate, and I think that is their equivalent. If you spent on it with all your spending over a year, Potentially you'll be getting around that £100 mark anyway, plus the 5%. What they have said is they will be introducing some more cashback offers, some sort of temporary ones, so keep an eye out on those. Obviously, it could all change. So Selamine says, hi Andy, does it affect my chance of getting a credit card if I've been in the UK for less than 2 years? Absolutely it will, because any application for your credit rating will be based on the details and the information in your credit report. Now, whether you've just moved to the UK or whether you're someone who's just turned 18, 19, whatever it is, or someone, whatever age, if you've never had any credit products in the past, then you're going to have what's called a thin credit report, which means there's not much information in there, which means it's going to be harder for you to get accepted for any kind of credit, not just a credit card. It could be, again, like a mobile phone contract or something like that. So it depends what's happened in the last 2 years. The way you need to do this basically is go on to any of those free sites, and there are 3 of them and they are free, which will get you access to your credit report. So you can see what's on there already. You can see your credit score. Again, loads of videos and articles about both of those on the YouTube channel and on the blog. So go to either of them, search credit reports, credit score, and you'll be able to learn more about those to help you make sure you're getting the best information, that you're doing what you can to improve it. And what I would say is also on those credit those companies like Money Saving Experts Credit Club and ClearScore, you will have that chance to do an eligibility check, and that will give you your chances out of 10. The likelihood is that you'll be accepted for a different credit card out there. So you can then gauge that. So if it might say you 9 out of 10 chance, you never know. In that case, well, not a guarantee 9 out of 10, but you might go for it. It might say 2 out of 10. It might be zeros across the board, but that's your way of finding out. Don't just apply for a card and then get rejected. Always do an eligibility search first of all. Okay, what else is going on here? Tom says, I recently checked my eligibility for a Barclaycard forward card to try and build my credit score, but was rejected. They gave me reasons, but I still don't understand why. Any thoughts? Now, it could just be that Barclaycard don't want you. If you go to a comparison site, although they won't necessarily be the whole of the market, they might just show you the cards that they are being paid for. And that's what most of them do. Everything from Money Saving Expert through to, I don't know, any other kind of comparison site that gives you this feature. But there might be others which do accept you. So that's the thing. Do that eligibility search on a comparison site. You will get to see a much, much broader spectrum. Now, if they're all rejecting you and all of them are saying no, check that credit report to see if there's any mistakes, any errors in there which might be flagging out to the credit card company that you're not who you say you are or something like that. So that's something to really think about at this stage. Hi, Salamine and Meg and Money Medics. And Sarah for them. Mix, loads of you guys joining. Thank you. Welcome. We have got 3 minutes left. Okay, right. I'm going to do 2 more questions. Right, let's have a quick scroll through. So I might miss some of them. If I've missed any of these questions, make sure you join the Facebook community. So becleverwithyourcash.com/community will take you, short URL, through to the Facebook group. Apply to join. Ask a question there. If I can't join in and help you, I will try and answer as many of them as I can. There are 1,400 people on there. Probably some of you who are watching this right now who will be able to help. So that is the best place to go if I haven't answered your question right now. This is interesting. So Delay Dave, the Tesco £325 is for the new Tesco Pay Plus debit card. Got an email invite from them last week. Okay, right. So they were offering extra incentives for some people. I'll have a look at that then. And if it is something to share, I will put it in the newsletter on Thursday. And that might be a reason to give it a try. It's not a good option just generally. I wouldn't use it, but if you want £325, it might be something to consider. Okay, what else we've got going on? Right, let's see. A nice quick one that I can answer for you guys. Here's the last one. Spencer says, hi Andy, I took out 3 credit cards to improve my credit score and it has dipped quite a bit. So this is if you've just applied for those credit cards just now or recently, then that application itself, that search in your credit report, that hard search will impact your credit score. And obviously so that's one thing. Hopefully you're paying them off in full every single month. But if you're getting charged interest on those credit cards, then absolutely that will impact your credit score. And this is a thing that takes time to build. It's not going to be instant, but hopefully that initial search, that will disappear and using them responsibly will boost it. Right, guys, that's all I've got time for. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry it's a short one this time, but I'll let you know when the next one is over on Instagram and in my newsletter every single Thursday. becleverwithyourcash.com/newsletter to make sure you get that in your inbox. All right, guys, until next time.